When I first started teaching world history, it was a little overwhelming because there's so much content that has to be covered, but this is actually probably one of my favorite classes to teach. In the next couple weeks in world history, we're going to be wrapping up our unit of World Between the Wars, which is kind of life after World War I. The students are going to be doing a graded discussion on what they believe contributed the most to the cause of World War II. So when I compare my world history and my US 1 classes, the content's really different, obviously, because it's two different courses, but also just the skill and the grade level. I'm able to push the sophomores a little bit more because they've been a little bit more experienced, where the freshmen need a little bit more of a hand-holding. I've been at Hopewell for about 4 years, and I can say that the Hopewell students are probably one of the hardest working group of students I've met. I always have great classes every year. History is really important for students to learn about. I think that it's so important for students to understand where they come from, where other people come from. Teaching US 1 is pretty cool, especially in this area of the country, because we're so close to Philadelphia and Trenton and all the different things that I actually get to teach about.
Being in US 1 is pretty fun. I would say it's a pretty fun class, and there's some cool people in the class.
Try to create an atmosphere in my class where the students know that they can talk and they feel that that myself and their classmates will listen. And also I encourage discussion and try to do as many debates and graded discussions as possible.
Atmosphere in the class, I'd say, is a pretty fun one, because there are some people I think are like really kind of like, I don't know if I want to say funny necessarily, but I guess some people are pretty funny people and pretty cool, and generally the class seems to be pretty awesome.
Next couple weeks in US 1, we're going to be looking at the Gilded Age, which is a time period of a lot of change in United States history, and the students are going to get a chance to work on projects that kind of take their own individual spin on what was going on with a lot of the reforms that were happening, immigration in Ellis Island, and they're going to be able to work together in a small group to kind of take a deeper understanding or get a deeper understanding of what happened during the Gilded Age.
Right now in history, we are learning about a period of time called the Gilded Age, and that kind of deals with like a couple of different major themes, which are urbanization, which is, a lot of people kind of moving into big cities and kind of making it like overcrowded, and industrialization, which really benefited because we have lots of buildings, we have lots of new inventions and whatnot, but at the same time there's a lot of, jobs that were really difficult for the people that had to do them. Like I said, there's political corruption, politics, people were often being bribed or were, just hiring their friends to positions and really weren't, doing what was best for their country. What I'm working on in U.S. history right now is kind of the end of this big project we're doing on political corruption, kind of looking at how certain people might have, kind of cheated or used bad habits to kind of get millions and millions of dollars. And we made a poster about it, and we kind of read through the chapter, and as a group we made this like note sheet and this like kind of quiz that we're going to give out to some people, and we made a PowerPoint on it that we're going to present. Usually the group work that we do tends to be a lot of presenting. It tends to be a lot of doing something and then like kind of working on it for a while and then presenting something like a PowerPoint presentation or like a poster, or you just kind of work on something, you kind of write something up and you present that. But sometimes the group work could just be like you got a packet or like a reading. And I like some of the projects and the work that we do because we're able to work in groups together, and I usually like that better than just working by myself. Taking a lot of notes in history is extremely stressful because we have like daily sections that we have to write it down in. And there's just a lot of PowerPoint lectures, and I always just want to like fall asleep when I'm in class. And presenting to the class ends up being a lot less stressful than I think it'll be, because usually before it I'm like really nervous. I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna like mess up or something while presenting, or is something not gonna be right? Is the worksheet not gonna match the PowerPoint? But usually when I'm actually presenting, I'm pretty calm, and I tend to end up doing a pretty good job.
How did this help?
Oh, say, can you see?